welcome to the Cool Down Room. I'm Elise,
And I'm Chloe.
and it is race week again, finally. So let's talk about the Montreal Grand Prix.
We're not
Basically,
coming to you live from our closets again because we can do Zoom.
we figured out how to Zoom now. So I've got my computer up on like a cardboard box, and then I've got my bed behind me. There's a Nile Horn poster and a Build-A-Bear of Nile, Frat Nile I made when I was like 15. And I think that
hmm
says a lot about my life.
Yeah. Um, this like the start of like these photos right here is like my Taylor Swift shrine. It's like a bunch of photos from when I went to go see her, and then there's a poster of her, and then it goes right into like my Ed Sheeran shrine, which is like the photos from that concert. And I've had these since I was like 4, but I've never gotten them replaced.
I've gotta get more stuff up on my walls. I'm still not done moving into this room, and it's been like 3 weeks. So
Yeah, this was on Netflix.
yeah, this was
I
on Netflix.
forgot about
I
that.
didn't watch it on Netflix because
No,
why
me
would
neither.
you? If I pay for F1 TV, I'm not gonna watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
I love
Everything
my
was at such
Monaco,
a normal time. It was
which is great.
gorgeous.
Monaco is in 2 weeks, and it is at like 3:30 in the morning. I love
I
it.
know.
It's so bad.
They This is the only race like this summer that's actually at a reasonable time. Everything for me was at like 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. And I was like, this is great. I'm awake.
Yeah. I'm awake. I can drink my coffee while I watch the race. I don't feel horrible, and I'm not sitting in bed, and there's no danger of me falling asleep. But for Monaco, there absolutely is danger of me falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
It was
bad.
a sprint weekend, unfortunately. We don't
Which,
like those.
by the way, Canada has not ever been a sprint before. We have had 5 race weekends, and 2 of them have been sprints. Get me out of
Why? I know it's because like Bahrain and Saudi Arabia wouldn't usually be sprints, but like could we just get rid of the
Can we please
sprints?
stop doing sprint weekends? Oh my God.
They're so annoying.
They're just
Um,
they're just not as fun.
Everyone remember that this is technically Lance's home race because he's
It is Lance's
Canadian.
home race. Lance is from Canada.
But like everybody forgets that.
Which sucks. Like I feel like
Yeah.
every other home race, they're like, "Oh, this person's home race 5 million times," but
No,
it's
right?
Lance, and they said, "Oh, he's a home favorite once," and I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
we get it."
We finally got an Esteban and Ollie BuzzFeed puppy interview. I know this is just because BuzzFeed reached out to like every F1 team, and Haas is the only like American F1 team. So they were the ones that did it. It's amazing. Please go watch it.
Someone
It's
get us on a
90%.
interview.
Esteban is answering all the questions, and Ollie is just giving us absolutely nothing the entire interview. They're like, "What music do you play when you warm up?" And he's like, "I don't." And they're like, "What are you watching?" And Ollie answers in like one word sentences, and Esteban is like talking the entire time. Ollie's
Ollie was into
preoccupied.
dogs.
Yeah.
Somebody,
Um,
somebody get us on a puppy interview and just hand me a Rottweiler, and I'll be sold for the rest of it. It's gonna be great.
yeah. But I thought that was really funny. Anyway,
Yeah. One of my I saw a really good Tumblr. I don't know if it was posted this weekend, but I saw a really good Tumblr post of somebody being like, "Oh, if you watch sports for long enough, you start to believe in curses." And that's true
yeah.
because ever since Ollie crashed, I refused to wear my Cookie Monster PJ pants during a race because that's what I was wearing when it happened, and let
Ooh,
me tell you, it is not helping. It is doing absolutely nothing.
I
I'm about to
wore
start praying for George at this point, but
I usually try to wear like something F1 related on race days. So like I'll wear like my F1 Snoopy shirt or like my H&M shirt. I don't usually wear like a hat because I'm inside and I think that's like tacky,
oh, yeah.
but it doesn't usually do anything. It's just for my
Yeah,
own
I was about to
sanity.
ask. I was like, is this making Ferrari any better? And I don't think it is.
No.
But for transparency's sake, I'm Hellenic polytheist. I'm about to set up a whole system. I'm like my incense. I'm getting
She's a
the
witch.
I'm getting the crystals out. I'm getting the food out for the sacrifices. I'm like, or the sacrifices is not the right word. I'm like, please, guys, please help me. I can't take it anymore.
Clip that. Clip that. Clip she's a witch and then everything after that.
The witch
Okay, let's talk about Lando's helmet because I thought
on
it
a
was
much more
cool.
serious topic.
For real. He partnered with Race Against Dementia. Half his helmet was looked like a healthy brain, as in like on a CT scan, and the other half looks like a brain with synaptic loss. Race Against Dementia was founded by Sir Jackie Stewart, who's a former F1 driver, if you didn't know, in 2016 after he got diagnosed with dementia. So that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything for Lando, like the good helmet.
There was no luck for him.
But nope.
Well, part of it that was really cool is that his logo was on it, but it was like you could see the L but not the N. So it was kind of like how you get like like dementia causes memory loss, but like you're missing parts and like you can end up missing really important parts of your life.
Yeah. Anyway,
Very cool. FP1.
FP1, Mercedes
Uh,
has a lot of new upgrades. I had to Google a Reddit of all their new upgrades because there were so many of them that I like missed when the commentators were saying it. They had upgrades front wing, the front wing end plate, the front and rear corner, the floorboard, the floor corners, and the floor body. So like basically the entire car.
and let me tell you, it did not make their starts any
No.
better. It did not.
No.
Actually, I would argue made their starts a little bit better because they only got passed by one person, and it was
Yeah, this
Lando,
is
to
true.
be fair. I think it was Lando. FP1, Franco had a throttle issue, which is like important.
Franco did so good this weekend. Just
Franco
wait, but
did
like
so
he did
good.
so good.
Franco was
I think
locked in.
maybe this is
That
just
is my
like
boy, okay?
me,
I want
but
to go
like
get like Chili's margs with him.
yeah. I don't know if like this is like something to do with the car if Alpine got upgrades, but I'm calling it the girlfriend effect, and I think the
Yeah.
girlfriend effect is real.
Yeah. No, I
Because
do
ever
think
since
girlfriend
he got
effect
a
is real.
girlfriend and she showed up to the races, he's doing like so good.
The girlfriend effect is real.
Yeah.
That's an inside thought. That's a thought I can't say on the podcast.
Liam lost power and said he was stuck in gear.
So virtual safety car. They played what it sounded like when he like lost power and got stuck in gear, and I went ugh out loud.
For a
Um,
minute, I thought that's the noise the car made, and I was like, I read that wrong, and I was like, what? And then I was like, no, wait, that's what Elise said.
yeah. It did not sound good. I don't remember this part, but according to me and my notes, Liam was leaning against the wall, just kind of staring at it. And I don't remember seeing this, but I think it's kind of like what I do. If I drop something, I will just stare at it for a second before I pick it up for
Yeah,
comedic effect.
you gotta be like, okay, how am I gonna go about this so I don't completely humiliate myself? I do that too.
I'll stare at it just for comedic effect, just because I think it's funny.
My cat does that. Anytime he drops something, he'll just stare at it for a second and be like,
Yeah.
what just happened?
Susie, the mascot of this podcast, is in her little cat tower right now.
Oh,
And she's not over here, but I'm sure eventually she'll show up on the podcast for real.
yeah. They said Lando and Max and Lewis were all using the grass, and I was like, come on now.
Okay, can I just say, Kimmy kept going on the grass, and I was like, one of these days he's gonna get clocked for going off track and gaining an advantage.
Hmm.
And I think he very nearly did because there was a point where he went off, and I swear to God, he came out in front of Lando, and I was like,
What did, yeah.
but then Lando like passed him immediately, and I was like, all right, well, no one cares now, but good for you know what? Kimmy's not afraid to lose
I feel like we should note that like we have more notes for FP1 than we do for like the entirety of sprint quali.
because the sprints are boring.
Yeah.
It's just, here's the thing is I always think that quali is boring because nobody wants to fuck up their car. And when you do a sprint weekend, you have two qualies in one weekend, which means that everything is just double boring.
Yeah. I watched everything because it was all at a reasonable time. And my parents would like want to watch it with me. And I'd be like, no, you don't need to do that. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, nothing goes down.
So
Nothing goes down.
anyway,
Anyway, a note from me, you, why is Yoss for stopping here?
yeah.
Which, you
Um,
know what, that's not a hot take, so. Um,
FIA is testing new light colors for free practice.
which is cool. They like it was just for free practice, which kind of sucks, but apparently if the like light at the back of the car is blue, it means they're losing a little bit of time. Purple means they're losing even less time. And it's like to give the drivers a warning that the car behind or in front of them is like slowing down, which I think is cool. They
Um,
also extended the session by 4 minutes because there were
yeah.
so many like safety cars. I think
Esteban said he was smashing the ground at every bump and it felt like he was at 10 ride height. I don't know what 10 ride height means, but that's not, it doesn't sound good.
no.
Apparently, there was like no grip on turn one and two because it was like kind of raining, but
It
like
was
not.
weird. They were saying the grip was like different at every point of the
Yeah.
track. Also because F1 Academy and F2 were also there.
Yeah.
And so they were basically having to there were like three different races all going on at once.
Yeah. A few of my friends from college were in Montreal over the weekend, but they weren't like they were like, "Oh yeah, we went." They're so funny. They don't follow F1 and they were like, "Oh yeah, we were at an amusement park on the island where the F2 track is while the F2 race was happening." And I was like, "That's the F1 track." They just were using it for F2. I had to like explain that to them. Anyway, Alex went into the wall and damaged his front wing. Apparently, he hit a
He
groundhog,
hit a
which caused him
groundhog.
to go into the wall, which is really sad.
I think they named him
But
Barry
oh, there's like
after the
really
fact. He
like slow motion videos that like on the internet of like, oh, he hit something. What did he hit? And then people kept going over it and they were like, Carrie.
and Gary the groundhog. Um, he didn't even really hit the wall with a lot of speed. He just kind of stopped, which is funny.
Yeah. He
But
also
poor
didn't know where
Alex.
the exit was because in Canada you have to like walk back to the pit lane and it's like
It's like
quite
the
a
walk of
walk.
shame,
It
like
really
going
is.
home from a hookup. Like you, it's
But you have
literally
to
the
like
walk of shame.
it literally is. But like the part where he at certain parts where like the marshals are, you can just like go off the track. But where he was, he had to like jump through like a little hole in the fence and then get into the safety car and then get driven back to the pits because he was so far from them. And he had no idea where to go at first, and I felt really bad because it was really sad to watch.
No, because that's so embarrassing. Like you've already
Yeah.
crashed, and
It's
now
giving it's giving Monaco last year when they had to push George's car through the tunnel
yeah.
while he was in it. It's giving that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Anyway,
always
um, Ferrari had a new suspension upgrade too.
yeah. Um,
Ferrari had upgrades, which is
Max said
always
his
good.
steering got a lot heavier, which is not good, and he said he was getting weird snaps in the lower gear shifts and that it was really upsetting him when the diff opens and I was like, "Okay."
Okay, like, um, there were a lot of lockups. The turns
Hmm.
are so they were literally talking about like the commentators were talking about it and being like, yeah, it's literally turn, hairpin, like for
And the
the entire
hairpins
track.
the hairpins were apparently either wet from the rain or really dusty from the races before. So there was like no grip.
This is what I'm saying. There was no in between. It was just like different. There were different grips at every corner, which
Yeah.
sucks. Because then how the
Some
you pick your tires? I'm sorry.
yeah.
What
Somehow
what do you
Esteban lost his entire nose, like the entire nose of the car, gone. He hit the wall like actually hit the wall. He spun back around and kept going, but the nose of his car like fully fell off. It looked, I think there was something you said last year about like an Aston Martin looking like naked because like the
Yes,
entire
they look
it looked like
so
that.
naked
It
without the
was
front wings.
weird. And
It's
then that was
weird.
they had a second red flag so they could remove it from the track. But like at one point, the commentators are just like talking about somebody else and they flash back and they're like, where's it? Where's the entire front half of his car? Where'd it go?
Oh my God.
Anyway, we're
Anyway,
finally into sprint quali.
we say finally as if I don't complain about sprint weekends all the time, every
Yeah.
day. SQ1, Alex and Liam didn't go out because they both crashed their cars in free practice and they couldn't get them fixed in time. So that
Yeah.
sucks. Um
Fernando
Fernando
was in the
went,
wall.
yeah, he locked
He,
up. Everybody
there
locked
was there was I should add that like FP1 and sprint quali got stopped so many times because people were crashing into the wall so much or just stopping and they would close the pit lane. So like drivers couldn't go back out. And so they would just start talking about really the commentators get bored.
Yeah.
So they just
You
start
can
talking about
tell.
anything.
You can
They're
tell when
like,
they
and
get
here we are in
bored.
Montreal. And they're like, and here's 5 fun facts about Montreal.
I think it's so funny that you
It's
can
so
tell when the
funny.
commentators get bored because they start talking about random shit.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Um, let's
And then
see.
they try to do like close-ups of the driver sitting in their car when they look all like sad and like bored.
Which, whenever they do those close-ups, I just get reminded, like, they all have such beautiful eyes.
Hmm.
We should clip this. They have such beautiful eyes. Like, they'll do, like, close-ups of the drivers in their helmets and, like, just sitting in their cars, but you can really only see their eyes because they have their helmets on. I'm like, God,
Yeah.
is this like a requirement? Is this like a job requirement? Because they did one
See?
for Kimmy, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, you all have, it's either like they're all like such a deep version of the, like, Charles has the bluest eyes ever.
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 Anyway,
Crazy.
Pierre
Anyway,
was when they reopened the pit lane, Pierre was trying to leave and he was trying to gain places back. And so he was like passing everybody. And the commentators were going, goodbye to you and you. Let's just get this over with. Let's go.
Oprah.
And it was giving when Ollie was passing everybody last year in Spain and he was going, ciao. Ciao.
Oh,
It was giving that.
I
Um,
love Ollie. He's so funny.
he's so
I
funny.
haven't worn my jersey for him in so long. I should. Um,
And then Franco was in P10 after sprint quali one, which is like, okay.
Hello. I after and after all of that, somebody I don't know who said this or about who it was one of the commentators, but I don't know who they said it about. And all of that build up for not very much. I was like, Jesus Christ.
They can be
This
so
is like a date.
honest.
Yeah. It's like going on a date. I was like, this is how I feel every time a date goes badly. I'm like, I put so much effort in for what? Like, I see
Yeah.
that as if I've been on a date in the last year.
Oh, yeah.
But like, am I not correct?
Yeah.
You remember my last date.
Yeah.
Not good.
Okay. Sprint quali two, the track was really dirty, like I said, because it was really windy also apparently. It didn't until after 3 p.m. Mountain Time. It was supposed to start at 2. Like, okay, sprint quali started at 2, which means that sprint quali 2 should have started around like 2:30, and it didn't start until 3 because there was so much stoppage from Fernando's crash in sprint quali 1, and I was so bored and I turned it off for like a hot second because I was like literally nothing's happening.
Lewis and P1, don't give me hope.
George and Kimmy duking it out for P1, foreshadowing.
No,
Literally
literally
foreshadowing.
foreshadowing. This entire like race felt like the entire like sprint and sprint quali felt like foreshadowing for quali and like the actual race. Um because Kimmy and George were just fighting. Like can
Yeah.
I be so for real about something?
Hmm.
I kind of miss when Mercedes wasn't winning, like as a Mercedes
Yeah.
fan, because it was so much less stressful for me.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
miss when they were always in like P5 or like P6, and then usually they would have like a podium or something, or like George won twice last year, and I was like, great, I don't
Yep.
have to be concerned.
Yep. Um, I loved when F1 was like unpredictable and you were like, an Alpine could win this weekend.
Yeah. I miss when there was a double Alpine podium.
That I was thinking about that this weekend, like a
That
lot.
was so in like that was an interesting race.
Yeah. Um, Max said
We all
Max was
pretend
very mad this weekend, just like at the World, which like what's new, but also like, girl, you're fine. You're driving a Red Bull. You're fine.
you're fine.
He said, mate, the car is just fucked on the rear. It's just jumping. I feel like he just like comes in at the most random points and just complains when he's
I
bored.
know. Max, I get it. All right. Your car kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, you are driving a Red Bull. Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you are gonna make it into the points.
And
Would
then
you rather be in a really fast car with some issues or in a slow car with no issues, knowing that, like, in a
yeah,
fast car, you're gonna get into the points, but you're gonna have to complain a lot?
yeah.
I would
And
rather
then
be in the fast car.
the commentators were talking about Ollie trying to make it into SQ3, and they were like, can Behrman find anything? No. And I was
They
like,
sound so
damn.
disappointed every time. I'm like, damn, okay.
And then Carlos got into SQ3, which hasn't happened, I don't think, this season. So like, let's go.
I mean, there's not been a lot of races this season, but
Yeah.
no, you're so right.
Into SQ3, one of the first things the commentator says is like, oh, Lewis is stuck in a Mercedes sandwich. And I was
Here's
like,
here's the thing though, is he though? Because Toto has said that like he's kind of still their driver, so like anytime he
yeah,
podiums, they're happy for him. Like, is he really stuck in a Mercedes sandwich, or is this three pieces of Mercedes bread?
this is true. Clip that.
What the fuck? We need like a clip of just the insane things I say. Um,
Hmm.
all of the insane things that have been said on this podcast need to get clipped at the end of the year or something.
Yeah. Charlos, Charlos.
Charles.
Charles almost hit the wall, and you can hear the crowd go like,
It's like
"Oh."
when you get sent to the principal's office as a child.
Yeah, and I love that the crowd is so loud you can hear it through the commentators' microphones in the booth.
I love it when that happens. It's so fun.
Hmm. Because then it's like, oh right, there are actually like hundreds of thousands of people here watching this.
Yeah.
You're like, it's not just me in my living room.
Yeah. I'm not just sitting in my little hobbit hole. Like,
Yeah. Literally nothing else happened in SQ3. Like we said, sprint weekends
Okay.
are boring.
George P1, Kimmy P2, Lando P3, and Toto smiled, which feels
Yeah.
big.
Finally into the sprint race, as if we haven't complained about it enough already.
Lando got noted for start, or Lando. Lance got noted for start procedure.
We're
It's
losing it.
fine. They're basically the same person. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. I swear to God, Kimmy went off track and gained an advantage. And it was the tiniest patch of grass, but I think it counts, okay?
Yeah.
Um, and George took the place back anyway, but like I would have been questioning
Yeah.
him on the radio.
Yeah. Kimmy and George fighting was the only interesting thing about this weekend.
No, literally. Kimmy goes, I swear to God, Kimmy goes, that was very naughty. I was like, Kimmy, you just cost yourself second place. Like Lando had
Yeah.
like passed him or something, and I was like, motherfucker, that was your fault.
Kimmy also got like fully told off by Toto over the radio.
It was so funny. Toto having to come on the radio and go, Kimmy, focus on the race and not the radio moaning. He also after had to tell Kimmy like don't complain on the radio because
Yeah.
we didn't win. He was like, don't talk about this on the radio. Like we'll talk about it internally. Now is not the time. And I'm like, okay. See, I could not
Yeah.
be a driver. Here's the thing is I could not be a driver because it's not like I have road rage, but I get really annoyed. I don't like yell, but I get really annoyed. So anytime somebody tried to pass me as I was like defensive driving, you would just hear me cussing them out. Like you would
Yeah,
just hear
Alise would
like
be paying 50,000 grand to the FIA every weekend.
I would be paying the FIA. I would be funding the FIA's like vacation home.
And then the commentator said after George and Kimmy were like duking it out for a bit, and then they said, and then the Antonelli show began. And I was like, oh,
Is every race not the Antonelli show now?
at this point it is.
At this point, like, come on. And today I learned that apparently they have a curfew that you can break 4 times in a season. I learned
Hmm.
this during sprint. Like they're all told like I don't know what the time is, but like they're like, okay, you have to go home at 9 p.m. You
That's
can't just
so
be
funny.
here.
It's giving
But
COVID, like
no, literally
during COVID, like when the city of my aunt lives in Philly, the city of Philadelphia had a curfew for everybody. You had to be in your house by like 10 p.m. You could not be out on the streets. And then George said, "What the hell is he doing? He's in the middle of the road." And then we were like not arguing. We were both typing on the script at the same time, and we couldn't figure
yeah.
out who he said it about. So I said Lando, and then Elise
No, you
typed
said
below.
Oscar, and I was like, I thought it was Lando because Lando's right behind him.
And then we were like typing at the same time on the script, trying to figure out who it was. And so some McLaren.
Some McLaren. And he goes, what the hell is he doing? He's just in the middle of the road. And I immediately in the script, well, George, I think he's trying to pass you.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to pass you and win the sprint. I think that's what's happening here.
And the commentators went, "That's not kind." And I was like, "Well, it's F1. He's trying to
We
pass you."
expect
Like, I think
look,
it's fine.
them on track and them in the paddock, totally separate people. If I
Yeah.
got into it, I go karting sometimes. I've been karting. Every time I'm in a go-kart, I like disassociate from my body. I become a horrible person. Thank God they can't hear me over the engines because somebody passes me and I am yelling. If
Yeah.
somebody goes a little too slow in front of me, I'm yelling at them to get up out of my way. Like I just assume that the drivers also all disassociate from their bodies.
10-second time penalty for Nico leaving the track and getting an advantage. Pierre's pit stop was so
10
bad.
seconds there were a lot of 10-second time penalties, and I was like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's a lot.
There
How
were
big?
so many. I couldn't keep track of all of them. And then apparently Lewis hit the wall, but I missed that.
Unfortunately, the Wall of Champions is in the way. I think that was about Lewis. I was like, girl, please, that's so
Anytime they say anything about the Wall of Champions, it cracks me up.
girl, why?
It's just so funny that they like named a turn that. It's like the spoon corner in Suzuka.
Oh,
I just think it's so funny.
wait, do you know why it's named that?
Yeah, I do. I just
Oh,
think
okay,
it's
I
funny.
got really concerned for a minute.
They said
Uh,
it like 4 times. Like, I know why it's named that. I just think it's funny when they say like the Wall of Champions is in the way. And then somebody said another big shimmy from the Ferrari. And I was like, hello. Immediately, Franco almost hits Fernando in the pit lane.
Franco had to like swerve, and it was really funny.
And
It
then the
was.
commentator said the shenanigans begin before we've even left. You remember last week when or like the last time when I said something about a part of a Haas making a bid for freedom? They
Mhm.
quoted that again.
Oh my
They were
God.
like, "Oh, and there's another piece of Ollie's car making a bid for freedom." And I was like, "Why are the Haas cars just falling apart?"
Why do the Haas cars, the Hosses just want to leave their like team?
Yeah.
They've gained, it's
Isaac,
like the toys in Toy Story. They've gained sentience, and so they
yeah.
just want to leave.
Isaac P2, Arvid P3 for a second. That was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool. I
Lance
had something
almost
and I totally forgot what I was going to say. Um,
oh.
Yeah, but Lance almost hit the wall because of course he did. Um,
Lewis almost hit Ollie because he was going so slow, his car was falling apart.
oh my God, I remembered what I was gonna say. My friend made Ollie and Tamagotchi life. And
Yes.
so we're just waiting to see what happens because she like had extra spaces and I gave her pictures of she was like, I'll make an F1 driver and I was like, okay, so I gave her pictures of Ollie, Joe, and Logan and I was like, okay, pick one.
Hmm.
And she picked Ollie and I think if I ever get Tamagotchi life, I'm gonna make all the F1 drivers and I'm just gonna let them.
Quali was kind of boring, not gonna lie. Nano almost hit Checo in the last corner, and I was like, well, this is great, I guess.
Fernando has basically been threatening to never retire, which is so funny. He said, well, because he said that he wants to like
He is
drive
immortal.
until his son can see him like in the paddock at work.
Oh yeah.
Like until his son can go and will like remember what's happening and like can see what his dad does for work, which is sweet. Please retire. Like this, I'm asking this of Lewis too. I'm like, guys, please, I get it, but
I think Lewis is fine for another year or two, especially after this weekend. But
he's got
Fernando,
another year or two. But
please.
at some point, I just worry.
Yeah.
I just worry about the long term as somebody with chronic pain, I worry about the long term effect on their bodies of
Yeah.
like the older you get, the less your body can withstand. So
Yeah.
like are y'all gonna be okay? Like no amount of training can stop the march of time, you know?
Yeah.
Clip that shit. Oh my God. No amount of training can stop as we march
Yeah.
towards death. Can stop us
Whoa.
from that march. Wow. Okay, let's move on. Um,
Q2, literally nothing else happened in Q1.
um, and oh my God, actually something did happen in Q1 that I thought was funny. They said, "What have you got, Gabby?" And I out loud said greatness. Um, and Gabby made it to Q2.
Yeah.
And look, okay, Gabby is not my favorite driver, but he holds a very special place in my heart. I
Hmm.
love the really deeply homoerotic ad campaigns that Audi
Yeah.
has been doing. I think they're so funny. I I
Yeah.
love I love Gabby. I think he's so funny. He admitted that he barks for his girlfriend, and that is the most hilarious thing. That is like the greatest thing a man can do is admitting to that in
Yeah.
front of like the world. I think he's amazing and I love him and I would love to yap with him.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
Q2, Franco in P1, Pierre in P3. This is like when we were saying, remember when Alpine got a double podium?
No, literally.
Remember when Max said
Remember
that he
when?
can't get his front wheels into the window and it felt like he was driving on ice. And Franco got P10, so he was into Q3. But Isaac was in P1.
Good for Franco. Isaac was in P1 for several minutes. Like, I just
Yeah.
want to point out that Isaac was in P1 for a while and I was so excited. I really
Um,
thought,
Charles said, I'm completely off the pace. Is either in the wall or P8. We need to make sure they give me clean air. I don't care whatever else. We give the McLarens clean air
no, he
for
said we could
clarity.
be cleaner.
Oh,
It was
he
in the
said, I don't
highlights.
care.
They had it like up with the
Oh, yeah.
transcript.
He said,
Um,
I don't care about whatever else. That's all that matters.
um, first of all, a P8 is not the worst you can get. Um,
No,
second of all, Chloe, I feel really bad that you're a Ferrari fan.
it's okay.
Anytime something goes wrong, I feel really bad for you. But
Somebody
also, like,
asked
I feel
me,
like we're in the same boat because we're both really stressed.
yeah, somebody recently asked me, like, who my favorite driver was, and I said Lewis, but I was a Lewis fan before he was at Ferrari, and
Mhm.
they like breathed a sigh of relief, and I was like, excuse me, and then they were like, but who's your favorite team? And I just kind of like hesitated, and I was like,
Look,
I was like, do I say it?
look, here's the thing. We need to, one of these days, we need to talk about elitism in Formula One because what do you mean they breathed a sigh of relief when you said that you were a Lewis fan before he went to Ferrari?
Yeah,
Guys, please. Like, I am all for, not being like a fair weather fan or whatever, but
yeah.
guys, just let people like what they like. It's okay.
Anyway,
There's no bearing on your life. Um,
Q3,
anyway,
Red Bull 1, 2, enter like the eyes emoji, like the two eyes that are like looking at that emoji.
yeah. Um,
George didn't really have any grip on his rear tires.
yeah. The commentator goes, Lando trying to get his first pole since becoming world champion. And call me crazy, but I feel a little bad for Lando. Like
Yeah,
it's
because
gotta
that's like not
stop.
normal.
It's
Yeah.
gotta suck going from being like the world champion to like never getting like he's still in like the top three, usually top five at least,
Yeah.
but like never getting pole again.
Yeah.
Also, can I say something? My
Yeah.
maybe not my fear. There is something deep in my soul telling me that like Mercedes is gonna get really locked in on that battle, and then McLaren is gonna like kind of come up at it. And McLaren or Ferrari is gonna like come up
Yeah.
out of nowhere, and we're not because they keep. Here's the thing: we all want to talk about like the WDC or whatever. But if you get second place every time and the person who gets first and like somebody different gets first or somebody else doesn't get first every time, you can win.
Yeah.
Like you can win the WDC if you get second every single race. And
Yeah.
you include the sprints in that. Like points wise, it's not like unheard of, right? Like Nico Rosberg literally got second in Abu Dhabi in 2016, but he still won the WDC, right?
Yeah.
My feel like we're not talking enough about how like they are consistently podiuming.
Hmm.
They are consistently on the podium. Mercedes needs to not, and this is the problem when drivers fight, is I'm like, great, please do not get distracted because you're gonna get distracted and somebody else is gonna come up and it's gonna screw you over. Apparently, Mercedes, take this with a grain of salt because I saw it on TikTok, but apparently Mercedes has like a rule that like that they're calling like the Max rule where it's like you can fight, but would Max Verstappen leave room here for
Yeah.
another? Yeah, okay. Anyway, rant over.
Anyway, Max said, "What's going on with the straight line speed? It's just completely fucked." He's funding the FIA's vacation homes at this point.
No, literally. He
George
is
took pull from
funding.
Kimmy at like the last possible minute, and then George went, "Ooh, we made that a bit tricky
Which is
over
so funny. And
radio."
George from P10 to P1, okay, that is my world champion.
Yeah.
That's my world champion. All
Also,
right.
this is so random, but watching the drivers weigh in after they finish is so funny to me.
It's so funny. Their little helmets are still their little
Their
their
they
little
have to be
helmets are
given like the tiny little slip of paper.
yes.
It's
It's so
so funny.
funny. We live in such a we have such a high-tech sport and they have like a little deli slip. Like
Yeah. George wears a headband under his helmet, and I did not know that. And I think it's so funny. It's to keep his like fringe out of his face.
that's so funny.
And
That's
then
so smart.
somebody over Lando's after so Lando got pulled, but after I think after the quali,
George
somebody
got
went
pulled, but
somebody said HOTTO go Lando, and then Lando goes, never again, please.
something about Chapel Roan being sung on radio
Yeah.
is so special to me.
Anyway, actually
In a
getting to the
sport,
race now.
in a sport that
The drivers were finding issues even like finding grip with different tires. Two formation
three
laps.
three formation laps because there was the
Oh
original
yeah.
one, and then they had a second one because Arvid like couldn't get in gear, and
He
then there
couldn't
was a
start.
third because Arvid couldn't start.
Yeah, and then they had to push
So
his car all the way back to the
progressed the pit.
pits.
So, and they like kept having to add them because they literally could not get Arvid's car back to the pits.
Yeah.
And so Oscar was just like yapping with his team about switching tires because he was on slicks and he was like, maybe I shouldn't be on slicks, guys.
Yeah. And he was in the box before the race started because he wanted to switch to slicks and not take the risk, which actually ended up kind of fucking him over. But anyway,
Should have waited,
um,
but it's
which
fine.
meant it was a 68 lap race instead of 70, which like doesn't really mean anything other than that
It
fact
just
that it
means
was
that the two
shorter.
formation laps came out of the race time. Like
Yeah.
everybody just had time. They just had to go. They were like, okay, we got to pack up and go. Like,
Lando
and,
immediately into P1 and Lando boxed on lap 2 to switch tires because it
so
stopped raining.
like if we're gonna be P1, maybe we should wait
Yeah,
and just deal with it. Maybe we should
for
wait
real.
and just deal with your tires sucking for a little bit while you build a big enough gap. Because frankly, it probably won't take that long to build a big enough gap. You just build a big enough gap so that the person behind you doesn't gain. Because Lando, when he boxed, went from P1 to P14. Like, he needed way more time.
Yeah. And
Um,
then his engineer said, Lando, we could be going very long. And I was like, no shit, you boxed on lap 2.
literally no shit. Like, what are we doing?
George into
McLaren,
P1 and Kimmy almost rear-ended him
which is so funny.
trying to pass him. And I was like, girl,
Um,
calm down. We're on like lap 3.
yeah. It
If you told me last year or anyone last year that Lando would be in P10 and Oscar was in P13 for like most of the race, like we think you're insane.
I
That's what
would
happens when you
actually
box
tell
early
him to
on.
get out. Like I would be like, get the fuck out. Like
Yeah.
I I would be like, get out. Like you're so dumb. Like that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
I would be like, look, like they're rocket ships. They're gonna be rocket ships.
Yeah. Ollie locked up and got passed by Pierre, which is like whatever. George, Kimmy, George, Kimmy, George, Kimmy.
They were just fighting the whole time. That's like out of any note we say, just remember that until lap 30, George and Kimmy were just fighting. Like that's just
Yeah.
going on in the background of all this. Oscar, okay, Oscar decides he does a late lunge. Alex doesn't see it. This is like I think the first knockout.
Yeah.
And Oscar and then because Oscar doesn't see or Oscar because Alex doesn't see the late lunge, Oscar ends up knocking into him and Alex got out and Oscar later got a 10-second penalty because of it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
fun.
And then Oscar pitted again, but which was really bad. And it was also really bad because the front jack broke or something. So he was in there for like way longer than he should have
This
been.
happened
And
last
then,
year.
yeah. And then he went like all the way down to like P15.
Guys, please get your
And
shit
then
together.
I'm pretty sure there was debris from Alex and Oscar because they had a yellow flag.
Yeah. They were like taking forever to get the debris off track and to notice it was there. Like to the point that they would yellow flag to go get it, and the commentators would be like, "What the? There was not a crash. Like, what is
Yeah.
happening?"
And
Um,
then Lando had to box at lap 16 because of a reliability problem.
and the comment like basically McLaren was fucked. Like the commentators
Yeah.
literally were like, "And McLaren will just delete this day. Like we're done.
Yeah.
It's fine."
Also, that they said this is a George Russell circuit, which did not prove to be true. And then
Like
somebody said,
it,
and then there was,
it objectively kind of is because he normally does really well, but
yeah. And then Kimmy was trying to pass him at one point, and they were like, "Oh, what is that Bono would say to Lewis? Hammer time." And I was like, "No, get that out."
no, Kimmy needs a new thing. Kimmy
He
needs a
needs a new
new
thing.
phrase.
I was
Like
like, "That's not fair."
we've gotta find like a good Italian meme.
Sorry, I just read your note
Where?
underneath
Oh,
the next one.
hang on, we're getting there. I we've got to find a good Italian meme for Kimmy.
We really do. I don't know any
Good.
Italian memes, but I do know a lot of like Irish and Scottish memes.
The only one I know is kind of long, so I never remember it, but it's like che cosa I'm under pressure now. Che bella cosa hai detto, I think, which is like you say such beautiful things. Um and it's like
Hmm.
making fun of somebody, but the pronunciation is part of the meme because they pronounce it
Yeah.
normally it be
But Kimmy and George were just like beefing. And then Kimmy said, "Why, mate? He pushed me off and I was ahead. Like, what's the point?" And then Elise's no after this, clip it.
Kimmy, it's just an incident on the track. I was like,
Help.
Kimmy, I would missed opportunity from the commentators, okay, to say, Kimmy, it's just an incident on the track. And that's why I should be, and that's why we should be race
Mhm.
commentators.
And
And
then somebody
and
said, "You've
F1
only
TV,
got,"
that's why you should hire us.
yes. They said, "You've only got four." They said, "Don't worry, you've only got 47 more laps of this, Toto."
They were literally telling him to take deep breaths. They were like, and in and out as poor as Kimmy and George are fighting. Poor Toto must be getting flashbacks.
No, for real.
Poor
Um,
Toto, man.
George was told
He's
to give the
just
position
stressed
back, I
going.
think, but I don't think he did.
So, okay, I thought Kimmy had been told to give the position back, but that doesn't really make sense either because Kimmy was behind George. So I don't really understand what
Yeah.
happened there because they were talking about giving a position back, and I was like, but there's no reason to.
No, right? Fernando retired. We don't know why. Probably because he drives an Aston Martin.
Probably because he drives an Aston Martin. That's, yeah. Um,
Max was in
Max
third. He was
third.
just waiting.
Max was just waiting for something to go down. And he was staying out of like Kimmy and George fighting, and you know what? Good for him. He was just
Yeah.
not his circus, not his
He's
monkey.
already
Okay,
he's already beefed with Mercedes enough. He doesn't need to
he's done
rehash
it
that.
enough. He can let them beef and just kind of step back and watch and wait for something to go wrong, and that is exactly what he did.
Lap 30, George was out because his car just stopped. Um, George threw his headrest out of the car, which later resulted in him getting a penalty or like an inspection or something for
Yeah.
like temper.
He
Yeah,
actually did get a penalty. He got like a 5,000 euro penalty, but it's suspended for 12 months. So basically, if he does something like that again, then he has to pay it.
yeah.
Um, and one of the commentators, one of the commentators said from the makers of Bahrain 2014, which if you've watched the Brosades video, you know what that means. But holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, God, oh my goodness. Um, virtual safety car and
And now George is being investigated for how
uh,
he got out of the car. They'll get
well,
over it.
yeah, the commentators literally were like, they'll get over it. Like, it's a moment of passion. It's fine. And then they absolutely did not. The Stewards absolutely did not get over it. And I think they should have. And I've already seen people on TikTok being like, oh, Toto Wolff is sabotaging him. And I'm like,
Girl.
girl, I actually really don't think that he is. And I think we need to put away the tinfoil hats for a little bit
Yeah.
because why would, why as a team principal would you ever sabotage your drivers? Because even if George and Kimmy are fighting, the chances of them hitting each other seemed pretty low to me. Even after they did bump in the sprint, okay, the chances of them hitting each other seemed pretty low. So I was like, why would you, when, if they both get points, you get points for your team. If George gets
Yeah.
out, you get so many less points for your team. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway, because of that, there was a virtual safety car because they had to take George's car back to the pits and he hopped through the little window to walk the walk of shame. Right as he hopped through the tiny little window into the walk of shame, he realized that he was in front of a grandstand of 10,000 people. And so he did like a little like he was like,
I,
"Hey." And then people are saying that was the room where it happened, like a Hamilton reference. Like I saw this girl's video and she was like, didn't realize I would end up in the room where it happened today. And it was her sitting in the grandstands as George like hopped through the little thing and like waved at the audience. Yeah, that was
that's not the room. That is not the room where it happened. The room where it happened is, okay, I've listened to Hamilton a lot in my day. The room where it happened is where Thomas Jefferson, Alexander
it's a
Hamilton, and
joke.
James. I know, but it's bad because it's not right. You're not using the song right. That's where
Anyway,
it's just wrong. It's not, you can't reference it and then have the reference not line up with what's happening. This is not the room where it happens. This is the walk of shame. I
anyway,
got so serious. I think that's the most serious I've ever been on a podcast. Um,
everyone pitted.
for the
Ollie
virtual
had a rally
safety
bed
car,
pit.
for
And
George's
then
virtual safety car,
and
actually.
then because at this point Alex, Arvid, Fernando, and George are out. Franco was in P6 and Pierre was in P8. And
Good
Isaac was in
for them.
P4.
Good for them.
Isaac Isaac straight up brake checked Charles when Charles tried to pass him.
You know
Straight
what?
up brake checked him.
That's twin, actually, because me too. Anytime somebody gets a little too close to me on the road, if I'm alone in my car, I'm like, look, don't play with me. Because I will look, the first time, I won't even actually brake. I'll just tap them a little bit. The second time, if they don't back off, I'm gonna brake a little bit for real this time.
Yeah. Anyway, for
Like,
P4, it was like Isaac,
oh,
Charles. They were just fighting.
the funny
And then
part is
lap
when people, can I say something really quick? When people tailgate me, if I'm going above the speed limit, I'll drop down to the speed limit before I brake check so
Mhm.
they know how bad it could possibly be. You get 3 shots
Yeah.
before you get actually, there's 3 strikes and you're out. Like that's my system personally. Um, so
But
I
on
respect the brake check.
lap 40, Lando got out because of something with his gearbox. The
Yeah, the
commentators went,
reliability
"Oof, that
issue
didn't
caught up.
sound good."
Yeah. He was like the gearbox or something is broken. I was like, dog. Um,
And then Kimmy said, "What is this guy doing?" And I said, "I think he's trying to pass you, babes."
I think I said he's driving out loud because like Kimmy was talking about Max, who was like right behind him, and I was like, dog. I fear he's doing his job. Like
Yeah. Hello, Carlos and P9.
Ollie in P10.
Lap
That's
44,
okay.
Checo was out because the front right axle just straight up fell off his car.
It just like disintegrated. Like
Yeah.
his front suspension was just gone.
He
Uh,
drove all the way back to the pit somehow and then just like stopped. We should know. Lando was able to drive off the track. Like he didn't just like stop. He drove like off of the track back into like where they parked the safety cars and then stopped. The
Um,
marshal's running out into the track to get the debris. 10 out of 10 dove
10 out of
head
10.
first
Okay,
into the little like hole.
as a former member of the swim team, 10 out of 10 dive. Um,
I
they
was scared for
basically,
them though because they
oh
didn't
yeah,
stop
there
the
was a
race.
car right there. It
It
was
was
a
land.
virtual safety car. It was a virtual safety car, but there was still like a
There
car
was a
right
car
there. There was the
coming
Mercedes. I think Kimmy was right there. And the marshal like runs out onto the track, grabs the debris, and then runs back and did like a Superman dive through the fence, through this like little fence hole, as Kimmy's car is like right behind him.
and the commentators ate that up.
It was so funny. It was amazing.
Also, I don't know if you saw this, like the fear in the marshal's eyes.
Yeah,
He
he
was
thought he was gonna get run over.
terrified.
The marshals are so brave. Like
They're
they
so
really
brave.
are God's strongest soldiers. Like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
Pierre got lapped, and mind you, Pierre was in seventh. Okay, which goes to show number one, just how many people got out, but number two, the difference between like the front field cars and the midfield cars.
yeah. Lewis was like, "We can do this, guys. I'm pushing." And then Charles said, "Let's stop speaking into the last lap. You tell me the last lap and anything absolutely critical." And
Like
Charles said that to his engineer.
basically, Lewis is having the time of his life. Okay, he's optimistic. He's like, we can do this. We got this. Charles is telling his engineer to shut the fuck up until the
Yeah.
end of the race, which is so funny to me.
And
Uh,
then Max's tires started cooling down on lap 50 of 68. And I was like, I think you're
you
fine.
you would think they would get warmer.
Yeah.
You would think that is
You
the
would
opposite of
think.
what would happen. Let's see.
Charles had a hello lockup on lap 54 because he just seems to do that at the end of a race.
I could not tell you why. Um,
So many FIA investigations started popping up. Valtteri has gotten flagged for speeding in the pit lane every single race this season. Almost every single race. Girl, slow down. Where are you
girl, slow
going?
down.
You're in a Cadillac. Where are you going?
As a chronic 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit, girly, slow down. This is
Slow
the
down.
one place where you can't speed.
Also,
Uh,
like, Valtteri, you're in a Cadillac. Where are you going?
where are you going that you have to get out that
You're
fast?
in the
Like,
pit lane. Calm down.
where are you gonna go? Once you get on track, how fast can you really go in
But
a
yeah, they
Cadillac?
just started
Okay.
like popping up at the top of the screen, and the commentators were reading through the investigation so fast I couldn't write all of them down. And then I
And
didn't feel like
here's the
going
thing,
back.
is so many of them didn't even actually pan out into penalties. Like I saw a TikTok and only 3 penalties actually came out of
Yeah.
the race. Or at least only 3 penalties like exist now that the race is over because most people served theirs already. Um,
Yeah. Max
like I
versus
know
Lewis, the
Isaac served
reunion
one. I think
tour.
Isaac served one like during a pit stop.
Yeah. The end of the race was giving Max v. Lewis the reunion.
That is, let me tell you, that podium dream blunt rotation.
No,
Kimmy,
for
Lewis,
real.
and Max, incredible blunt rotation.
Yeah. Again, I said this. They say like, and he goes past the wall of champions. It cracks me up every time because like it's just such a funny. I just think it's so funny. Lewis
Uh,
said, "I need more power mate on lap 59," and I was like, "Girl, you're 9 laps away from finishing. You're fine."
you're doing okay. Um,
On lap 60, yeah, Lewis got P2. He passed Max on lap 62 of 68. Nico
which was
pirouetted
great.
but went back into the race.
Which was
Um,
nice of him. I love when they do a little spin and they keep going. It feels so clean.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis's mom was there, and he can physically lift Kimmy up because Kimmy won for the
So
fourth time
it was
in a
so
row.
cutie. Like Lewis literally
It was
went
so cute.
full, lifted him up. I was like, "Aw, cuties." Um,
Anyway,
that's it. That is all that we have for you guys. It's been a kind of a chaotic episode. Because it was a chaotic race, actually. That's
yeah,
why. Um, but that is all that we have for you. There is a week in between, because of course there is. There is a week in between now and Monaco. So we're gonna figure out what to do with that.
yeah.
We don't know yet. You'll know when we know.
Yep.
Uh
Until then, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify channels, like this video, find us on Instagram, follow us on
uh
Instagram. Yeah.
at Ithaca Cool Down Room, I think on every account. But that is all that we have for the end of episode announcements. So we will see you soon. But until then, have a beautiful 1 or 2 weeks. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
All right. Mwah.
Mwah.